Hello, Bibby here from PES Universe, and thank you very much for finding this podcast. We're going to be really cheesy and we're going to call it the PESCast, and it's just going to be an hour of us talking about either the latest topics or whatever we find interesting around PES. Now obviously we have just had some more details released for PES 2017, so this was like the ideal time for us to be able to sit down and talk about what's been revealed. So there's 5 of us here from the PES Universe group, and it is literally just going to be us rambling for an hour. Again, thank you very much for finding this, whether or not you found it on SoundCloud, YouTube or whatever. And the quality isn't going to be absolutely amazing. I mean, for instance, every time I talk, you're going to hear a hissing in the background, and that's because I was recording while playing PES at the same time, which is just obviously a schoolboy error. But yeah, it's just going to be an hour of us rambling, and this is going to be a minute of me rambling. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe to us, don't forget to share it if you find it actually interesting, or whether or not you like us or not. Don't forget to leave a quick comment on it. But yeah, Barry will introduce us in the second half of this now, and I hope you do, as I said, I hope you do enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Right, okay, I have it. It doesn't make a difference anyway. We don't have to sync it up perfectly. Anyway. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's fine. Mine's loaded.
All right, you ready? So.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What's the crack? Oh, fuck yeah! I was just about to say it. All right, give me a 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. Potato.
What's the crack, lads? It is the Midnight Kid here, and today we are bringing you... Oh, for fuck's sake! Who's laughing?
That was not me! That wasn't me for once! That was someone else!
I'll keep going. It is the Midnight Kid here. We're bringing you a podcast. First one on PESuniverse.com. And we haven't decided what to call it yet. We might call it just the PES Universe podcast, I suppose. But, yeah, episode 1. I'm just here with a couple of the boys. We've got Spike.
Hello.
That was fucking enthusiastic.
Yep.
We've got Wixie.
What's happening?
We've got Nemesis.
Yo, what's up?
And we've got a Bibby.
What's going on, lads?
Alright, lads. So we're all in. We're all having to banter before, but we're a bit giddy. Spike is the worst of them all to fucking record with. But yeah, we're just going to be discussing PES 17. It's not going to be the most, I suppose, professional podcast. This first episode, we're just learning bits and pieces as we go, and Spike's going to be laughing consistently.
I'm not laughing.
Fucking,
I'm drinking.
Podcast.
I have alcohol.
All right, fair enough.
I'm quiet.
But yeah, we're just going to talk about PES 17, and I suppose get our thoughts on it or whatever. So maybe we might start with Spike before he drinks too much. Get your thoughts down. Give me something that you're most impressed with PES 17 so far, Spike.
I played it. No, I don't know. To be honest, I think the only thing that's really kind of impressed me at the moment is the fact they're adding the corner kick strategies, and there's talk that they've improved, obviously, the referees, the goalkeepers, basically just fixing the things that were a mess in this game. Like, because obviously the game's been pretty decent, but anyone that's played it knows through balls are, far too overpowered. Keepers do all kinds of silly things. So it's just about taking it and tuning it up and getting everything right, rather than spending too much time adding new features that aren't going to help improve the game.
That's true.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What do you think? Like, do you all think that, like, sorry, Nem, do you all think that the kind of, like, the buzzwords that they come out with every year, like precise pass, real touch, like all them, do you think that they'll make a big difference? Like, are you impressed with them, or are you just kind of, are they just buzzwords, kind of, do you think?
Same with every game, isn't it? With FIFA, PES, whichever, they've got to have a buzzword to get people interested. But what it all comes down to is the gameplay, and obviously a lot of people like the editing aspect of it with PES, like obviously with us lot. So it's just about adding the things that really matter. I mean, they can use the buzzwords, that's fine, but as long as they got the product behind it, that's what matters. So
it's true.
I'll basically just touch upon I think what Spike said, I agree with the same points there. Yeah, the buzzwords are just things that they need to improve in PES 2016, and I think we all agree that PES 2016 was a decent base for a football game. There were a few flaws, but I think with the things they have promised to bring us 2017, that these flaws may be fixed. I'm really excited for the corner kick strategies. I think they bring a lot of depth into the game. And also natural play movement. I always think more animations the better. So 2 key points I'm actually looking forward to.
Yeah, like
Now for me, I think the most important thing for me is the real touch thing, because how many times has a ball gone up in the air and you've got someone underneath it that's got a high dribbling, high touch profile, and the ball has just gone like 4 or 5 yards in front of them. Now, have you ever seen consistently someone like Ronaldo or Messi try and bring a ball down out of the air, and the next thing they know, it's at the defender or the goalkeeper's feet because they've took that much of a heavy touch? It just doesn't. That isn't realistic. You've got someone like Iniesta who can ping a ball about, but can't make a 2-yard pass in front of him because he can't bring the ball down properly.
They've also got to add the right balance though, because like obviously, even players like Ronaldo will make those heavy touches. It's just how frequently it happens. Like you said, it's far too frequent in the moment. But
yeah, of course it is. In a 90-minute game, if you're not pressing R3 to clutch the ball, which you shouldn't have to press every single time, it should just be, if there's no one in front of you, you should take a touch in front of you, but you shouldn't have to keep on pressing R3 to be able to touch that ball in front of you to run onto. It's just, for me, it just feels like every single time I do an over-the-top through ball and get someone to run onto it, it'll just ping the ball like 4 or 5 yards in front of him, and you'll have someone who isn't even that fast catching up to him.
Yeah, it'd be
just
good
sort
if
of
they
spoils
use
the flow.
if they use that that first touch, the real touch, if they use that to shield as well, because if you got someone like Ibra at the moment, he feels quite slow and clunky at times, even though in real life he can twist and turn as well as a lot of players. So like, you want to be able to take that touch down using that button and kind of shield the player off, and then use that fact that you've taken that good touch to be able to turn a player, almost like, like so you can use a number 10 as a number 10, because at the moment you've just got to push away from the player, at which point sometimes you'll run away from the goal, which is not what you intend to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but like all the players, like I think the main problem with PES, especially online, is probably, and Wix, you probably know a lot about this from playing it, like, do you know what I mean, is there's no real, I don't think anyway, there's no real kind of need for like a Tony Cruz or a Totti or someone that doesn't have pace. Like you're kind of better off filling your team, like especially on my club. Obviously, we'll get to that in a few minutes. But like, I think they've kind of lost it a little bit, because you're better off filling your team with kind of like all round kind of fast players, rather than having a Tony Cruz who is like invaluable in a real football team or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and lad, like the player dynamics as well. You got your likes of your Ibrahimovic should be able to hold the ball up, but then you got your likes of your Sterling who, although they're small, they're still strong on the ball and still be able to use that first touch to dink it round the player, or they can hold the ball up and shield a big player off. They can do that, whereas there's times where literally little players are just whipping it off you and getting away from you, and
currently
the big lads
they're using
aren't able to hold
the
it up.
speed and the strength almost like, if someone's fast, then they can't be strong, and the same the other way round, and that's not how you get that real, like, Messi's tiny. I mean, he really is tiny, but his strength as well, when you see he puts his whole back into the player, doesn't he, so that he can shield well.
Yeah.
Maybe a feature that they should actually develop for like later PES titles is like centre gravity. So like, as you said, these small players like Messi or Sterling, they might be really small and they might not be able to physically match bigger players, but they do seem to be able to hold them off, which is down to the centre gravity and good balance. So hopefully it's something that we do see in PES 2017, but if not, it's just something to think about for the developers.
Again, on that zero gravity thing though, the most important part of someone like Aguero's whole game is the fact that as soon as they're taking that little small touch, their acceleration, it's like boom, gone. No one's going to catch him. That's like something that doesn't happen in this game. If you take that first touch and you've got Messi, it feels like he's turning like a truck. He's got like you can't set off fast enough.
I think it depends on the mode as well, though, because like on my club, if you've got a player of high explosive power, and to be honest, in my Master League, I found that I've got one player and he's got 99 explosive power, and everything else is pretty average. But with that explosive power, if you take that one touch and then you just hit the sprint button, you can actually like burst away from them. But it's just not predominant enough. Like you know, like if you do get past someone, they can catch you up by pulling you or just run alongside you. They always seem to have that pace to catch you up. Whereas I think it's the maintaining of the speed that they kind of need to keep, because you can pass a player. We've all seen people run past, but it's just that if it's a straight line to goal and you know there's only you and the keeper, that defender that's chasing you just seems to miraculously catch you up no matter how slow or whatever he is.
I found a problem when I first started PES 2016, but I've like lately noticed like if you do dribble with the ball and you do beat a man, the first thing to do is just cut his running lane.
Yeah,
if you do that, there's no way from getting back onto you, and like it does seem to work, and it is a feature that you do see in real life football. For example, no matter how fast you are, you could be Bale. Like Bale, sometimes, let's say, okay, 60% of the time will completely flat out destroy his man on like a 100-meter race, but Bale sometimes has to cut his defender's running lane to get to where he's going to go to, because you cannot underestimate your fullback no matter what in what situation. So yeah, it's just something that we do see in real life football, and it's a thing that I use in PES 2016 quite a lot to actually start beating defenders, and it does work.
Yeah. I like I said, I do agree with that totally, but it's just that whole thing of if you haven't got the angle to kind of go towards goal, but you have beaten that defender, and you have to turn in, if they're on the side of you, you won't beat them pace for pace, even though you should, because it's like, you know, Bale versus Terry or something. Do you know what I mean? Terry will still catch up, so they do need to kind of balance that out a bit. But yeah, the cutting of the runs is a brilliant thing to have in it, because like you said, you see it in real football, and it makes you think, I've got to cut that run before I'm even thinking about taking my shot or how I'm going to beat the keeper.
Yeah,
but
they do that with the dribbling speed and the running speed, don't they? Some players are faster without the ball, and then obviously with the ball they're obviously going to be slower. So the likes of Terry might be good with it without the ball, and then obviously with the ball he's going to be slow as. But the other thing as well is with the referees, if you know, you're saying about cutting across the man, if you are cutting across your man, there's times where lads will just slide in, try and snap you, your player will jump the challenge and they won't even win the ball, but then it just goes, and there's no, you know, you think you've got your advantage and then it just goes. So that's another thing with the improving the referees. Hopefully that'll come into it more.
But that's kind of one of the reasons why we have that issue of, you know, people saying the game's not realistic. It's because they want to make it a fair game as possible. But if you think about it, football is a fair game as possible. If a player is faster, a player is faster. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to take that danger into account, and you've got to man mark him, and that's how you get the tactics come to life. And at the moment, it's like you said, there's always kind of like not a bug, it's actually programming to kind of say, look, if this guy gets way away, then we're going to have a way to let you at least get a chance to catch him back up. But in football, there isn't that. So they need to put that in and then kind of go, right, now it's up to you as the player to prove that you can man mark out Ronaldo or Bale or Robin and all these players that are so hard to mark out. And that's part of the tactics, is, you know, that's the danger man, and you've got to kind of take that into account.
Well, you can already go into your menu on the game, can't you? And you can set, correct me if I'm wrong, but that you can do that already, can't you? You can go into your menu and you can say, right, okay, if I'm City and I'm playing against Real Madrid, I can have Company and Otamendi marking Bale, and then like Sanya.
They've got the mechanics,
Bale,
but it's like I said, because they've got that catch-up feature, you kind of don't need to do that. You're better off playing zonal, whereas in real life you might have to actually use that man marking, the 2 versus 1. And I do believe actually that Adam Batty mentioned that 2 players will mark star players. So like if you keep passing to Ronaldo in 2017, then the AI will pick up on that and it will 2-man him, which is what you need. You need that
to
kind
stop
of
exploiting
realism
as well. So
yeah,
like,
exactly.
If you notice in my club quite a lot, people just exploit. Like nowadays in my club, you see a lot of players on the game have a lot of star players. For example, Messi's, Ronaldo's, Bale's, Robins, etc. Let's say when the launch of PES, it was very rare of seeing someone with a Ronaldo or a Robin and stuff like that. So it forced players who are not that skilled to actually keep exploiting those players, and get quite annoying just playing players that just complete exploiting speed down the wings, etc. like that.
True.
Are we talking my club?
In my club,
but that's because of the agents that they keep on giving out. They keep on doing these stupid agents where they do, all right, okay, we'll do semi-finals, Champions League, and you've got 60 players up for grabs, and 50 of them are high black balls, people are just going to rinse as soon as they rinse and clear.
Yeah.
The agent.
The thing is, people do come back for that, and I think Konami want to do that. They want you to come back. They want you to get the best players. But what they're failing in is we haven't got the variety, because it's like you said, like once you get the best players, you just play them. That's all there is. But if they made like tournaments where it was, say, you can only use 85 rated black ball players and lower in your team, suddenly you're creating this team that is completely different, and it gives more variety. And then they've got to, obviously, to counter that, they've got to make the reward of that tournament worth taking your time to make that team. So something like 5 player slots, because because we all know that like player slots should be like a thing that you can win in tournaments, because it gets to a certain point, you've got 130 players, and it goes, right, you need 80,000 GP to have an extra 5 slots, and suddenly you're going, oh, sod that. But if they say, here's this tournament, if you win this really difficult tournament with a different team, and it's going to obviously be players you're not used to using week in, week out, you know, you'll get 5 player slots. People go, oh, that's good. And then you get a lot more variety in your matches as well in those tournaments, because obviously you won't have your Ronaldos, your Messis.
Like the whole, I think, well, you have to, you know what I mean? You have to understand then as well, like with my club, I think they're after taking it in such a different direction than, you know, Master League Online, which they had, which was basically Master League Online, you know. But
no,
you know, it was basically just, you know, very, very slim pickings, like with the features compared to Ultimate Team. But with my club, they've definitely tried to make, you know, spending real money a priority, which they're right to do it, you know what I mean? I think they're right as a business, but I just think myself, from having played PES all my life, and like, you know, even starting with PES 6, playing online, and, you know, getting a win against somebody that was, you know, better than you, and just like being able to beat him by just being, you know, more clever with him with the ball or holding the ball or whatever. I just think that the reward and kind of, you know, the rewards that you get from beating a player now in PES 16 is like, you know, you go on to my club, you play a match, and then you win, and it's like, right, you know, grand, I'm going straight into the next match. There's no real kind of reward to it. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but
no, but the thing is, you mentioned, I just wanted to bring up the real money thing just before we move on, because the real money thing, I'm so happy with the way that they do it at the moment. People go, well, why? Because you can just buy lots and lots of agents and blah blah. But the thing is, it doesn't guarantee success. And there's that other thing at the moment where you can grind, and if you don't have that real money to spend on the game, so say you're like, you know, one, you don't want to spend that, or two, you're some really young kid and mummy and daddy won't give you all the pocket money, you can sit there and you can grind it out. And yes, it takes longer, but then it's almost like you're earning your chances at these agents. It's like,
that's true. Yeah, that is
it's
true.
Like, you know, real money is the shortcut, but the grinding obviously gives you that opportunity if you've got the time to put the time into it instead. So it's a good balance, I think, at the moment, and that's why I'm kind of worried about this whole, you know, transfer thing being imported into my club, because it would be nice to have a transfer market, but I think, you know, using the swear word FIFA, I think we've all seen how that encourages gold sellers, or it would be in this case GP sellers and things like that, and it kind of then just it makes the mode like you can just get whoever you want if you spend enough real money, but if you don't spend money, you haven't got that opportunity to grind your way up anymore. So
well, that's the whole point of this, the whole RPG element of my club anyway, isn't it? So like, for instance, I'm just going to use this as an example. I've got an Ashley Williams, and I think I got him when he was 79, and because I've stuck with him, I think I've got him up to like level 43, and he's rated 84. So keeping with the players,
it's
it
good
does.
with that,
it does make a massive difference.
What I'm saying is, if they had a transfer thing, then somebody might, you know, have plenty of
somebody won't use them.
They buy Ronaldo and they level him up to 50, and all of a sudden your Ashley Williams is getting absolutely destroyed. Do you know what I mean? So you need that balance that they've currently got pretty well. And like I said, when they do the silly agents, it's silly. But if they had the different kind of tournaments that encourage people to use more variety, then you wouldn't be playing all-star players every week, but you'd still have the opportunity to you know, enjoy a game of all-star players. It just give you more variety to your My Club experience, I suppose, is the best way to put it.
Right. Okay. Well, the next thing that I wanted to bring up as well is the total team control thing. Have you ever? I know I'm going to use the swear word again, but in FIFA, if
Jesus.
I know. Well, the thing is, right, if you're 2-0 up, and you've got 70 minutes on the clock, and you just wanted to take the sting out of their tail a little bit without spamming, and you just want to control the tempo, you just flick it back a little bit, and instead of being neutral, you'd go down to defensive or ultra defensive. Now that works a lot. That is just, it's a feature that should have been there in the first place. It's just It's just an amazing thing. I can't believe it took them so long. I don't know if they want that
feature in my club though. Like in off of my club in seasons and stuff, yes.
But in online divisions, you can use that, can't you? You get your preset formations with your one defensive, one offensive, and I use that quite a lot. Where I will set a defensive formation, and if I think I need to park the bus, I will do that. So it is a good, maybe it is more, as they say, they're saying you can instantly change it. So I don't know what they mean by that, but I suppose if there's times where you're chasing the game and you want to just throw everyone up front, and rather than pause the game and fucking pissing people off, it's just an easy way to.
Yeah, I agree. It shouldn't be in my club. That's what you got the managers for.
Yeah, but I just think as well though, there is kind of like a general lack of control in my club. I know we're kind of focusing on my club. A lot of people don't even play it. Well,
yeah,
I think a lot of people still play Master League as well. Like I enjoy Master League probably more than my club, but that's just me this year. I don't know. But like, I just think that there is a lack of control in the online modes where it's like, I know it's great that you have Simeone or whoever and you're stuck to your formation with him, but you should be able to, like, in an online mode, that's one of your main selling points. You should be able to go 5 at the back with Simeone if you're 2-1 up in like the 80th minute, and you're just getting peppered by Ronaldo, Messi, Robin up front or whatever. It should just be a simple thing of, right, I'm just going to go 5 at the back here. Like, you shouldn't be shoehorned into just playing 4 at the back because you have Simeone. You know what I mean?
But does that come down to, is that like I suppose, like I said, is that where we want to define the difference between a my club mode and an off mic, like seasons, for example? Because it would make sense to do that in seasons, to have that ability to do that. I mean, that's where the PES championships, that's what they use, real teams. They don't use my club teams. So it would make sense to have that kind of as the competitive, the most pure football style. But like my club is obviously supposed to be kind of like a bit fantasy as well. So that the whole idea is you learn, like we obviously have Pezep, who he does a lot of videos on how the managers affect the game and stuff. I mean, essentially, if you give full control to to all the tactics and everything in my club, then why do we need different managers? All of a sudden, you can get your Pep Guardiola's got 640 item level, and you can do anything you want with him because you've got controls of the total team control. So
yeah, or it drops your
yeah, but it's still like I get that, but you should still be able to, like, if you play 100 matches with Guardiola as your manager, or you play with David Moyes or someone or whoever it is, you should be able to, like, somehow be able to, like, adapt. The manager should adapt over time. That if it's like, right, Spike likes to go 5 at the back, and he's forcing me to go 5 at the back, and maybe his rating takes a hit, or maybe his manager his rating takes a hit or whatever. But like eventually he'll get into the groove that you like to play that way. You know what I mean? And
yeah, but
then it wouldn't be a case
that could actually be.
Basically drops your team spirit. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
But it's
a feature where you could level the manager like you level the players. Maybe get a level 50 Pep Guardiola, and that gives you more tactical options. Things like that.
Adaptive AI, lads. Adaptive AI. That's what they're saying that we're going to get.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll have a slider for that as well. Hopefully they'll have a slider, where you can adjust it, because obviously there could be times where your opponent's going to abuse that by thinking, hang on, I'll just spank Ronaldo for the first half, throw 2 defenders over there, and then spank it over to Bale on the other side, and all of a sudden you've got 2 men out of position on every attack. So there should be a slider to say, I don't really want that, I'll do it myself, I'll use my man marking and do it that way rather than using the AI to do it, because again the people start saying, it's scripted, blah de blah de blah, and you're going that way then.
Just focusing on those 7 new pieces which we know is not going to be the same. That's not going to be right. We know that's not going to be right. They're not going to add 7 complete new features. They're going to say, right, well, we're going to do this, and it's only going to scrape the surface until next year when we add a bit more to it. What's the point in unleashing it if it's probably not going to... Like you're saying, the referees, that's the biggest flaw in the game for me. And the fact that you could be clean one-on-one. Me and them were talking about it before, saying that on He's Become a Legend, he's going through one-on-one, and he just gets rinsed. He's out then for 7 months, but then there's no red or yellow card or anything like that. It's just...
That was a knee-jerk reaction to... That was a knee-jerk reaction to PES 15, though. Because the referees in PES 15 were like atrocious. There was like an animation in PES 15, if you remember, where it was like if you slid at the if you slid maybe like kind of before the ball was at the opponent's feet, or just after he collected it, it would always be a yellow card, even if it was a clean tackle. It was just kind of like, you know what I mean? So I think they kind of just went the route then of, right, we're just going to let everything fucking go. You know what I mean? Just go mental altogether.
I just want to point out that one thing that nobody ever uses, which is a shame, is the diving feature. Because let's face it, if you're Ronaldo and you get into the box and someone kind of just clips you from behind, you want to be able to react after you've been clipped so that you do fall down. And instead, the dive feature is you've got to preempt and then you've got to dive. I think they need to work on that a bit more, but then they also need to change it so you don't always get booked, because the second you do that dive, if you get caught, you're guaranteed 100% to be booked. So nobody uses it because it's like, oh, I'm guaranteeing myself a yellow card. But yeah,
it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one because if you balance it out, so for example, there's some situations where the referee will catch you out and book you, or there's some situations where you do get the challenge in your favour. But when you think of it, like at the end of the day, all online players in any online game is always going to find exploits. So that's something that could be exploited. Just think you're 1-0 up, or it's a 0-0 game in a, I don't know, my club final or something, and someone who's really good at getting his dives challenges and normally gets a good decision from referee decides to dive in the box. Like, he gets a penalty, he's 1-0 up, and he wins the match.
But
like,
is that
just been exploited there?
Is
so
that
it's a feature
the thing
that
is that, yeah, you say that's an exploit, but if you think about it, that's just part of real football. Like, how many times have we seen Ronaldo dive for, or Pepe roll?
It is, but then again, handballs.
Oh
as well
yeah, but I think with handballs you can't deliberately add a mechanic
handballs.
to deliberately handball.
It's something you can't control.
Yeah.
It's something you can't control. But diving is a part of the game that is shunned upon in real life, and I think it's a. I personally just think it's a feature that I don't think should be in the game.
You think?
Because number one, right now we can't get any benefit out of it, and number two, if they do make it something where you can get benefit out of it,
but do you think that they should make
annoying.
it like contextual then, so that Ronaldo will dive automatically, or because you do kind of, if you take away the diving, then you kind of lose like the realism. Like, I was playing on Master League, and I think it was Bristol City versus Watford or something, and I went through and the player dived, and
AI,
I was just like, wow,
that's
amazing. The AI dived against me and he got booked, so I was like,
that is amazing.
That's really cool. Like, I really enjoyed that moment, and
that's the AI. But from a player versus player point of view, if I decide to say, oh, you know what, let me play Spike because I know how to dive properly, and I keep getting penalty after penalty after penalty, I'll beat you 5-0 from getting 5 penalties.
Yeah, so maybe
how do you feel about that?
But maybe it's like, swear word again.
It'll just be rinse and repeat.
Handballs is is set to off by default online, and you can't turn them on. So maybe the diving, could be the same way. But it just, like, when I'm playing Master League, like I said, that moment when the AI dived against me, and I thought, fucking hell, I've conceded the penalty, I'm really pissed off, blah blah. And then all of a sudden, the referee turns around and booked him, and I was like, that's brilliant. That's what I want. That's real football.
That's another thing with the rosters as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just saying, it's another thing about the rosters. Are they hopefully going to get the kits in on time? Are they not going to, spoil that again by rushing it to get it out there? Yeah. Yeah, that needs to be right from day one. As I say, you're going to lose people, aren't you? You're going to lose the FIFA guys who think, you know what, I'll give PES a try this year, and you think, hang on, all these players aren't here, I may as well just play last year's FIFA for a bit, so...
Yeah, the transfers was horrendous this year. Bringing them out in November, people who played Master League on day one have got last year's team, now you're alright.
I'm sorry, but there's no excuse at all from Konami in that.
That's like the easiest thing out of everything that they need to plan. The easiest thing to do is to sort the players out.
No
It doesn't matter
excuse at all from
it
Konami.
doesn't matter what the kits are, how the game plays. Just sort the teams out. Who wants to start a game, a Master League like this year? I'm playing a Master League now, and I've got Robin van Persie playing for United.
Yeah, the thing is, it's not like they've even. I was gonna say that but they haven't got that excuse either of the kits, have they? It's not like they can say we were working on the kits, we were waiting for the the manufacturers to send us this, because obviously a lot of it's unlicensed. And you mentioned WWE and how good that is, and like I was talking to you earlier, they've got that community page where you go on there and people create content and upload it, and you can download it, and it's like that's something that any game should have. Do you know what I mean? For unlicensed teams.
Yeah, one thing that FIFA does very well is their catalog, and if a new boot comes out, no matter of a week, it's on the catalog for players to use. The same with transfers, the same with kits. And I think even though Konami might struggle with a license point of view to have a sort of community that WWE has to actually host a server that makes people put stuff up, or make Konami put stuff up like that, I do think they should have some sort of catalog which is strictly from Konami that feeds content to us players on time. So if a new boot comes out, we don't have to wait 3-4 months for it to be in PES, because there's times when they release a new boot in PES, and by the time it's in
November,
PES, the new colorway's out or the new model's out. And the same with the transfers. Like, we had to wait how long for new transfers to happen? And I think, sadly, a lot of people, as Wixie said, we came over from FIFA to give PES a go.
Well, that's what you pay for, isn't it? That's the
interest
simplest
from
thing to get right.
Us players, we always want shit up to date. We always want the players up to date. Like, to start a Master League. Yeah, indeed. Definitely.
Well, yeah, because if you buy a new football game, the almost like the what's the word, like a guarantee should be that you are having that year's players. I mean, you can play a football game, you can still play a game of football. Yeah, they add all these real touch, precise pass, etc., etc. But I can still put 2016 in when 2017's out, and I can play it. And if the players are out of date, then it's no different to 2017 if they haven't released the dates. You know, I'll have the same kind of problem. You know, the players won't be at the clubs. So essentially, you, like you say, you pay your 50 quid or whatever you pay for it, and you're not even getting the most basic of updates that should be in that game. So they do really need to be on top of that, even if they have to draw the community in and say, we need more help and feedback and this, and, you know, give us details on players and stats. And because I know for a fact that what EA do is they actually hire like people, not, you know, actually hire paid work, but they say, do you want to be someone that works on so and so teams? And I mean, I used to do Bristol City, and what you do is you give feedback on their platform, on their online thing, and then they take that feedback and they say, you know, is that right? Is he giving me good videos that, you know, backs up what he's saying, blah blah, and then they adjust the players, so they don't even have to do research, because they're getting their fans to do the research for them, and then they just take the good feedback and use it, and the crap feedback they just chuck it out. Whereas Konami don't seem to, you know, Konami don't seem to have anything in place like that, which they should, because the community's dying to help. We got face makers, kit makers, stat builders. You've got all of it out there ready to help them, so they've got no excuse.
Yeah, no, I think they learned their lesson from last year, to be honest, you know. I think they have, because I think as well, I think, you know what I mean, I won't say I think you're being harsh, but just to add kind of, I suppose, a different voice to it, like, not saying I disagree with you, because I don't, but just to have the argument for maybe somebody listening that's saying, you know, we are being a bit too harsh. I think you have to remember as well that, like, you know, they're using a new engine. I don't think that they, it wasn't developed for PES. I think it was kind of, you know, the Fox engine obviously wasn't specifically for PES, you know what I mean? So I think that there's a lot of stuff that they were still catching up with last year. I mean, me personally, just to kind of change the mood a little bit, I'd be happy. I think the glass is like nearly the fullest it's ever been for PES, like compared to like back to PES 5, PES 6 as an overall package. You know what I mean? As in, I know the transfers and that were a disaster and stuff, but I'd be prepared to give them a pass for that if it meant that it's not going to happen again. You know what I mean? Now, if it happened this year, then I'd say, look, that's just totally fucking, you know. But I just think you have to give him a little bit of a pass. It's the same at my club, and I know I keep going back to it, but it is the same. It's a new mode, you know what I mean? It's in its infancy, really, when in terms of, you know, how long have FIFA been honing, you know, Ultimate Team, and they've literally left it largely untouched.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's just bringing in half a billion every
You
year
make
in
him-
money. You know what I mean? So
Well, it was last year was the first one on the new gen, wasn't it? It was the new. It was the only PES around. Yeah. On PES, but
The first time.
But
they
that's
used
what I'm
the
saying,
engine,
you know,
yeah.
it's like there is a lot of, you know, there is a lot of like stuff that needs to be, you know, like fixed and atoned for, you know, especially with the transfers this year. They were, you know, it was a nightmare situation, you know what I mean? And then to be pushed back more and all that stuff. But I do think, you know, that you have to kind of
Yeah.
look at it as a way, like they've had a lot of, you know, transitions and different things going on in the actual behind the scenes, you know, and, you know, the UK studio has obviously helped by opening up, by bridging that gap. But yeah, I mean, it is
Well, yeah, we're seeing
Yeah,
a lot of change in staff as well, aren't you? Like, there's a lot of new staff members and stuff.
Yeah, I think the fatigue system needs working on as well, because alright, you see fatigue stamina bar go down or whatever, but you know, you got Ronaldo who's just constantly sprinting, constantly passing, constantly
Yeah.
shooting. He could run the full length of the pitch and then 2 minutes later do it again. It's like, alright, he might not be fatigued, but he still shouldn't have the energy to do that again, you know. And it'll cut out the through ball spamming.
I think yeah, you could do that a bit on, for example, if you're playing 1v1 versus someone. But if you talk about my club, if you go back to that again, then pass the ball around your back four or around your team if you're 2-0 up. It's something that players that you play against won't like, and therefore they'll hound you a lot. Just keep chasing. Because at the end of the day, we've got to remember that my club is a bit of a fancy element. It's supposed to be arcadey. It's built really arcadey. Just have that lot of. It's just pick up and go and have fun. So I don't think it's something that will make it to my club. I think my club is where it is right now, and I don't think Konami's going to really change that much, to be honest. But if we're going to talk about offline or online versus 1v1, then that sort of gameplay where you can have the ability, the versatility to, okay, yes, I'm going to put pressure on this player, on this guy, and
Well,
I'm going to try to score a couple
you
goals.
mentioning
get you a
that,
couple
it's
goals,
like you.
then you can decide
I was
to
gonna
play
say,
it
like you
around.
mentioned
I
that.
think it's a
the
feat
one
that you
thing
can really
with
do
you-
online and stuff like that. And
I mean, I
think
don't know
it's,
if you guys ever played my
yeah,
club and you're
it's pretty good, to be
grinding
honest.
and you do the grind technique. So you literally get the ball and you just stand there, and you can watch the energy bar and it'll be ticking down. And it's like I haven't run for like 70 minutes. So
I think it's aesthetic. I really think it's aesthetic, the energy bar, because you see it going down, it will hit red, but I don't feel any major difference to my player that I'm running with, as if like, oh, he's completely tired, he's completely dead. I could still sprint around, do nifty dribbles and shoot, and still like score about maybe 3 more goals. So I think it's a really aesthetic thing, to be honest, the energy bar.
everything should get lazy, shouldn't it? You should be able to carry yourself, and the touches should get lazy. Your shot should go a bit wayward.
Yeah.
Just everything should decrease.
Yeah, definitely. So I think like in later PES titles is to branch onto that. I think there should be a whole aesthetic workload, for example, for injuries, certain animations, etc. So as you said about Bale, when he got to the 120th minute, he wasn't moving as freshly as he was in the first half. He looked a bit jaded. He struggled with cramp, so he's moving around, limping a bit. And it's something that's in FIFA, but it's not done well at all. Where, for example, if you're just complete holding R2 or sprint, then when you get to the 80th minute, your players can get injured, and he does a little hobble, might hold his calf, fall down, whatever, etc. like that. FIFA, I think, is too exaggerated, but I think it is a good idea to have something like that in PES, but not as exaggerated. So, for example, with your Bale, let's say in the later PES title, if you sprint non-stop, your energy bar will go down. Just what Bibi said earlier about your touches will be a bit off, you won't be as fast, your shots will start going wayward. That's another effect. And plus, with the animations of, for example, holding a calf, you can just instantly say, okay,
yeah, and to add to that,
gone.
the other good thing would be is like, we've all been there. You're playing football, you're running, it's the 80th minute, you're getting tired, you sprint, you know, alongside someone to get the ball, he wins it, he turns and runs down the pitch. You don't always turn and run straight back after him. Sometimes you'll just bend over to take a breather and be kind of like, oh, fucking hell, I need the... And little things like that would be good, because that would
Breather,
cause them to get caught offside, and because they're not getting back. Yeah, exactly.
Fold your
Just
socks and
little
stuff.
touches make a big
Yeah.
impact on that overall feel.
Yeah. Following to that animation talk as well about like injuries and stuff, I think injuries was the biggest gripe of mine in PES 2016. Bibi said earlier, I had a conversation about my Become Legend, and there was one particular season in my Become Legend, my latest one, where I only made 11 appearances because I got injured 7 times in that season, and it's basically down to the way how the AI tackle. Like I think it's the whole heart element. For example, for derbies, every single challenge is like you get chopped down, literally disgusting chop downs from centre backs, left, right, and centre. And after 3 or 4 challenges, your player just curls into a fetal position and holds his knee, and obviously his game's over. And that happened 12 times in my season, and like I literally gave up with Become Legend because I thought it was completely unplayable after that. I couldn't even try and think, all right, let me go for the golden boot. I wouldn't even get enough games to score enough goals to do stuff like that. So yeah, I think something like injuries is something that you totally needs to be reworked, because even on my club, it just seems that players will hack your star player down and he's injured. The next game you play, he cannot play. So focus on my club just now. I think if they was to do something with the injuries and not make it so prone for certain players, that'd be good. But if a player does get chopped down and the player gets sent off, I think there should be like I don't know, like a system where their player plays red card, follows into the next match. I just see players chopping players down left, right, centre, and obviously going into
like
the next
if you're
and not
losing
being
6-0,
punished at
then
all.
you'll
They
just
can
foul the
easily
shit
play
out of
the
the
player
other
that
guy,
just got red card.
and he get you injure all their players, and
Just
you
foul
get
the shit out of
nothing
you.
against you. Yeah,
You
no
get
penalty at all.
no punishment at all. So there should be a punishment in place to make it much fairer, and players should not get injured so easily, I believe, in my opinion. Offline, I think the same thing should apply. But as we know already, on offline, if a red card happens, obviously you got to take 3-match ban or 1-match ban, depending on what league you're playing. But if you get injured, it's just ridiculous the amount of months you're out in, how easily you just get injured. I just think it's kind of ridiculous, to be honest, just getting chopped down cynically by centre backs just down to the AI with the heart system.
Yeah, but it kind of goes back to like a thing where I said as well about like, you know, a lack of reward in actually, you know, trying to play proper, not even proper football, I mean, but just trying to play, you know, the fundamentals of football to me were always kind of, you know, use your left and right back, you know what I mean, keep possession, control midfield. But in PES, in no matter what mode, really, I know like one of the biggest problems is you're trying to fit a full experience into, you know, a 90-minute match in real life into, you know, what, 10 minutes, you know, 5-6 minutes a half. I understand that, but there should be some sort of, like, one little idea I always had since like PES 2012 or whatever was like, when you're playing a match, there should be in-game kind of achievements. I think I talked about this with Bibi before, I don't know who I was saying it to, but basically I'm playing Spike in my club, and Spike has Aguero, and I have fucking nobody at the back, but it's like, you know, Spike is averaging a hat-trick a game with Aguero, and I get a message in-game before the game, kind of like a wager where I can accept it or not accept it, and it's like, if you stop Aguero from scoring, you basically get 5,000 GP. So I lose 6-0, Spike absolutely spanks me, but he doesn't score with Aguero, and I stay playing till the 90th minute, and there's my achievement. You know, I get my 5,000 GP, I'm buzzing, Spike is buzzing, there's no lag quits, there's no cheating, you know, and people would, you know, because, being honest, when you come home from work and all you want to do is fucking, you know, play something that doesn't remind you of work, or that's not work, you know what I mean, and you want to get away from shit, you know, it's very frustrating when you go on to my club and get peppered with people that are just dickheads, you know what I mean. That's just my opinion, and I'm just being straight up with it that way. I think there should be, even in Master League you could do it. They did bring something kind of like that into Master League, where there was kind of, you know, when you used to have to keep the players happy and you put them up for transfer and they'd be coming into your office sulking and stuff. I thought that was kind of cool, if not a little bit annoying, but
I think
just kind of something like that would be, you know, or else have an 80% pass, you know, accuracy completion with Cruz, and you could lose 10 fucking nil, but you still get your 5,000 GP, or, you know, you could build your team then, you know what I mean, when you'd be getting rewarded for playing proper football, you know. That's just my kind of opinion on things there.
You're saying basically that the biggest issue is that people don't play football, they play to win. And I think the biggest, the focus, that the thing that, everybody wants to do and should do is they need to make a game that rewards you for playing football. Not, in the sense of you are more likely to win if you play good football. I mean, let's face it, everybody, you have games where a team does play better and still loses. I mean, Atletico Madrid in the Champions League final, second half and all the way for extra time, they were way better and they did lose. But, on PES, it doesn't feel like you're rewarded for playing realistic football. It feels like you're rewarded for finding the exploits. And I mean, I watched that PES League World Championships on the stream, and there was 2 people playing, and everybody in the chat was saying the same thing, which was highlight this game. And the reason why was because this one guy was playing these early crosses, and every single time it caused the AI to, if it the other guy's defense to just split apart. And he scored, like, I think it was 6-2 or something. The final result might have been 5-2. And, like, 4 of his goals were from doing that. And that's the thing. It was rewarding him for exploiting rather than for playing good football. And that's what it all comes down to, is they've got to make a game where the footballer will win, not the gamer who, just picks up the game because they want to get, a win streak of 6,000 or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's all about
but
football.
It's finding that balance then as well, of somebody that wants to, somebody you're catering, like, and I often use kind of disagree a little bit with some of the lads that are working with Konami, obviously, and say, you know what I mean, just fucking go for it, go for a pure simulation. But I kind of see that, it's kind of like putting a square peg into a round hole. Like, sometimes you just have to, not be selfish and want what you want in a football game.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with having it a little bit casual.
Like we said, is it gonna work the way it's intended to work, or is it going to be exploitable? Like you said, you could do Wixie said you could put, like, a spam
Wixie,
Ronaldo down the one side, and then the next half go Bale, and they're all going to be on Ronaldo. So it all comes down to that word balance. Everything is about balance, and if you can't balance a game, you can have the best engine, the best graphics, everything, but if you can't balance it, it's just not going to be fun to play, and it's not going to be a football simulation game or just a fun football game. It's going to be what we have now, which is a lot of unbalanced features which need to just be tweaked just to make that awesome football game that we all want.
I probably we'll touch on. Do you want to touch on edit mode, and we'll kind of leave it at that then?
I think
we might give our predictions
for because
Euro.
we're all editors as it is. I think we should just basically just tell the fans what you've got planned. For example, what to look forward to in PES 2017 from PES Universe.
Yeah. Well, if you want to belt away, on them, I'll leave it to you.
Alright, so the usual, we're gonna have quite a lot of work going to PES 2017. We'll have the Barks Premier League completely done. We're gonna have kits of Bundesliga done. What else? What other leagues have we got planned, guys? Because right now, top of my head, I don't know what we actually have.
Basically, we'll be making any main team that is unlicensed, basically. So, and then I know Julian is working on the Mexican league, the Colombian league, and he's already done the Argentina league. So, that's 3 other leagues. So. Yeah.
Well, Italy's going to be licensed, isn't it? As far as I'm aware, they're not losing that. So, yeah, we are pissing in the wind when it comes to stuff like that. But, well, City's only got leagued today properly. So that's like, we ain't even got an away kit or a third kit yet. But most teams have got theirs. Well, they're made by Nike, so yeah, they probably are going to be shit.
Yeah, the thing is, we don't know what is licensed and what's not at the moment. So we're kind of like, we're working on everything we can, really. The Premier League home kits are pretty much, we're blasting through those, and obviously a few have done away kits and stuff.
I'm actually going to be doing a series as well on YouTube. I haven't told you about this, but I'll just tell you now as an exclusive. I'm basically teaching Nemesis how to use Photoshop. So
willing to learn.
Episode 1 is going to be just basically the fundamentals, how to use the tools
the one
and
thing
stuff,
we
and then we'll kind of get into the real custom.
Bibby's paint kits, second to none. Honest to God.
Oh yeah, that's what it is, isn't it, mate? I've got people following me because I use Microsoft Paint. They're actually in a league of their own.
Crazy.
It's not. It's still going strong. I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing it back like Fila and Ilesi. It's making a comeback. But no, just touching on the custom kits and that. Obviously, people have been messing about with new felts and new fabrics and stuff like that to make them look authentic as possible. And Nem made today the World Champions new oil spill kit, and he's already come out and said how superb it looks and stuff like that. And it's getting the kits are getting the credit that they deserve, because the amount of time that people put into them, even just like doing collars and stuff like that. I know some people have trouble with doing the collars, and it might take them like an hour or so, but to put that hour in, but just putting that effort in, people are commenting saying like, how are you doing your collar and stuff like that. It's just unreal that people are paying that much attention to the small details, and obviously it does make it worthwhile, the fact that people are noticing it. It's not just, oh look, it's another kit. Do you know what I mean?
But on that note, that's the good thing as well, is like when you got someone like Nemesis doing that, it then makes me think, right, well, I've got to do better, I've got to push myself, and then Carrasco will come out with something and he'll look at Nemesis and mine, and you know, we all play off each other, and kind of it encourages us to look more at those small details and to really spend time on it. It's kind of like competition, but the thing is, because we're in the same team, it's good. It just drives each other.
Well, the fact that it's not just that though; it's the way that you're presenting it on Twitter as well. You know, with the smoke and stuff like that, and it's just when it pops, it just pops. As soon as you see it, it's like, wow, it's serious. Like it's next level. That's next level promoting. Do you know what I mean? Like, people are instantly seeing it and thinking, oh, it's a real kit. Actually, no, it's not. It's someone that's made a kit for a fucking video game, but you know, it's just the way it's presented.
And like, it just basically healthy in a healthy way. And like, the only thing that can really do is just make us better and better, which I think is just a really good thing. So, for example, if I see someone else do something, I want to try to emulate it. Like, I think we're just pushing the boundaries of innovation, to be honest. Like, our team as a whole, and I just really love working like people like that, to be honest.
Well, we've obviously got the WhatsApp group that's just going at about a million times, at a million fucking messages an hour with Spike sending pictures of fucking bin bags on his head and sending pictures of.
Hey, no! That was a picture of Sepp. What are you talking about? That was blatantly Sepp.
But it's like we obviously you share the images between you, and you're like, how else can I make this better? It's like, I think it was you that was making a new logo for Spike for Barry Spike. Yeah. And he was like, oh, what can I do to make this better? Like, obviously you're asking for inspiration. It's like whatever inspires you to do it. And
it's
just
hard
messing
to make
about
Barry
for like 4 hours.
Honestly, it's really hard. And then to make Barry look good too.
Fuck you, Spike.
That's like a double whammy.
It's just, you're obviously trying to gain inspiration off each other and pushing each other, and that's what it's about. Obviously, because I'm not an editor, I know full well that mine it stops at paint. That's it. You know what I mean? It's seeing all your work, all of your work. Obviously, we've got a group of like 30 of us. We've got some people who are editors, streamers, YouTubers, marketers. We've just got such a large group of people, and
the
everyone is just excelling.
You saying about the group, the other good thing as well is, like, if you're struggling on something and you can't do it, you know, you literally just cannot seem to get the grasp of it, even though you could do something, say, that other people find harder. Like, I struggled on one pattern, and I spoke to Nemesis, and he sent me the pattern, and I said, just send me the pattern, but you can then say, like, cheers, you know, to Nemesis, he's done this pattern, this part of the kit, but he allowed me to make that kit spot on. And that's the kind of thing that's good, is if we were on our own and we were all doing it individually and trying to do all the kits, you know, and we weren't part of PES Universe, then you wouldn't have that kind of connectivity between people trying to help each other out. And it's the same with the community. When people ask me, how do you do this, how do you do that, I'm always trying to say, this is how I did it, but the way that I use Photoshop is a lot different to the way someone like Nemesis will use it, and that's why Nemesis is producing those kits that you just like look at the details and go, bloody hell, like, how the hell. And I think that's what it comes down to, is then he can then say, look, this is how I did it, and you can learn from that. And even if it's just one technique, you learn that, and then that can improve your kit. And it's just brilliant how everyone kind of really wants to do that. They want to push each other, they want to improve.
Well, like Barry was saying when he tweeted something about it, saying that it was an idea between 3 people, and that's exactly what it was. And then they started drafting other people in. Some people obviously left since, but we've got more people in to fill the gaps. We've got events coordinators now with projects that we've got coming up. We've obviously got another set of streamers. We've got YouTube content creators. We've just got all bases covered in that respect. We've just got like a large team, and everybody knows exactly what they're doing and the little standard that we've got to adhere to. But it's just unreal at the fact that we've got these people and they want to do well. It's like we are a community at the end of the day. That's what none of us get paid for it. It's just a hobby that people have got because they want to be able to.
Well, in fairness, like everyone has been everyone has been very, very, very supportive of us all. You know what I mean? I think myself, like there's, everyone has been, and Konami kind of getting them on board this year has just been the icing on the cake, but we've built a nice foundation, I suppose, and like that's what, like with this podcast, like I mean it's just new ideas, new features, like new things to bring people on the site rather than just kits, you know what I mean? And we do have, like as I said, me and Ricky genuinely, and I know I can say this from the two of us, like we definitely didn't expect it to be this big this soon. Like we were kind of aiming for like the website to be a beta until PES 17, and you know what I mean? And it's just been literally like, Ricky's like literally putting 50 hours into the website every week, just trying new things, and so yeah, so that's basically it. Do you want to end it there with the Euro, talking about the Euro 2016 for like 5 minutes? Just give our predictions, like one word, pick a team, or do you want to leave it till the next one? Just give a team and we'll end it then. We'll start with Wixie.
Belgium.
Who's that?
Belgium.
Okay, Belgium. Spike.
Me, I honestly don't have a clue.
Spike, come on, fucking just say someone. England?
No, I just said I want to say England, but I haven't been drinking enough. So
all right, we'll put you down for England. We'll put you down for England.
Okay, we'll put you down for
Bib.
England. Someone had to.
You there, Bib?
Bibby's falling asleep.
Bibby's gone.
Yeah, no, I'm still here. But bloody hell, it's 1:15. I've got someone's got to be up in the morning.
I have to be up for 7, so.
Ooh, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna go with France.
Oh, you fucker! I was gonna say France.
I thought you would have said Ireland. Come on.
Sure, look.
Support.
No, Nem is gonna say Ireland.
Nah, I'm not really. No.
That was the most polite. I'm not really ever.
I'm going for Iceland. You know why? Because the big legend Adger Johnson.
So you say fucking Iceland, but you laugh at Ireland.
You got to give Iceland.
Fucking what about Shane Long?
Adger Johnson.
Man, what about Shane Long? Come on, Shane Long, the Irish Jamie Vardy is what I call him.
All right. Final Iceland versus Ireland.
I'll tell you, lads. Watch
It's
it.
not as good.
All right, I'll take that. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Spain.
Boo!
Yeah,
I was waiting for that.
I'm gonna
That's
say
the
Spain.
easy choice.
Yeah, I know.
Out.
I'm gonna say Spain. But yeah, Spain will be tough to beat. I think this year again now. Yeah. Well, Iceland.
Iceland.
I'm nearly sure Iceland is the worst pick tonight. To be honest.
No. It's a rule that Spain cannot win it. They've already won both the European Cups. They're not allowed to win the Euros.
I don't think they'll
see it that way.
Someone's got to stop them.
Trust me.
Italy could be a shout too.
All I'm saying, if that's the case, Nem, then surely you would put a tenner on it if you're that confident. You'd be a rich man if you win.
Sure, there's someone a couple months ago who said the same thing about Leicester City.
And yeah,
Leicester did
exactly.
Saying that, how many people bet on Leicester? Yeah,
that's true.
Nobody
Yeah,
bet on
that
Leicester,
is true.
Did they?
Yep.
All right, lads, we end it there.
I think so.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, lads.
See ya.
We're not going to give like a little
music
outro.
happens.
We're just going to like completely cut it there.
Bibby's going to sing you out. Here he comes.
No.
Go on, babes.
Hello, it's Bibby again, and thank you very much for listening to that podcast. As I said before, it's not going to be the most professional thing. It's our first one that we've done between us all. We're all not in the same room and recording it over certain different applications that are on our PC. So yeah, do forgive us that the sound quality isn't there. The outro wasn't the best either. As I said, we are all amateurs when it comes to this, but you know, we're here to try and give you something that you may actually like. So if you did like it, then again, don't forget to share it, and we will hope to try and continue this in a trend, either a weekly or a bi-weekly sort of podcast. So if you did enjoy it, as I said, I keep on banging on about it, share it, like it, do whatever you want with it. But again, thank you very much for tuning in and listening to us womble on, because there was a lot of it in there. But again, thank you very much for that, and we hope to see you again in episode 2.